Hey guys, welcome back to today's daily outlook for our astrological transits, and today is March 10th, Wednesday, March 10th, 2021. And let's get right into it. Like I said yesterday, oops, sorry. Like I said yesterday in a video that I had to take down because 3/4 of the way through shooting it, I realized that my child had taken his pants off and was rolling around pantsless right in the background of my video. So, I had to take that down and make it private until I can get it edited and blurred out so I can put it back up. But anyways, yesterday in my video, I was talking about how today is a big important day in the world of astrology and therefore in our world, because today we have a Sun-Neptune conjunction. And this is in Pisces. And the sun only conjuncts Neptune exactly one day each year. And Neptune is the planet of spirituality, of divine, the divine, this, Neptune rules the highest octaves of true love and divine connection and aligning with God's will for us. And on the flip side, the dark side, the lower octaves of Neptune, it actually represents just specifically the opposite. For example, delusions, illusions, confusion, lack of purpose, whereas high octave of Neptune, the higher frequencies, the higher way of using Neptune energy aligns us with our divine purpose. The flip side of that is actually being diverted or avoidant of, or not wanting to fulfill or find our divine purpose, actively avoiding it, avoiding a lot of things. And sorry, I forgot to start my computer. I wanted to pull something up to read today. And so Neptune is also in Pisces right now, which is its ruling sign. And whenever a planet's in its ruling sign, it really is operating at its full strength and its full capacity to deliver us its gifts, if we can receive them, or, the energetics are just very strong. So for today is actually a very special day, and we have a very strong opportunity to really tap into our connection with God and connection with the divine and our intuition, and really go inwards and align ourselves with the higher principles and the higher ideas and the higher potentials of ourselves. And it's really an important period of time because not only is it the conjunction of Neptune and the sun today, but we're also in the balsamic moon phase, moving into the new moon that's going to be happening in Pisces conjunct Neptune. And whenever a new moon occurs, that's the energetic that is carried forth and unfolds throughout the entire lunar cycle, the entire next course of the month. So, and like I said in my video yesterday, which no one has seen because it's been taken down, this specific balsamic moon period right before the new moon in Pisces and this specific new moon in Pisces are very, very, very significant for all of us. The new moon in Pisces, new moons are always significant, but they happen every month. This new moon is extra special because this new moon is the very last new moon of a very, very, very long period of time. Since Saturn and Jupiter moved into Aquarius earlier this year, we're officially moving into entering the age of Aquarius. And with the new moon in Pisces, Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac. So every year when we have our new moon there, that's really the true end of the year. And the real true natural new year begins with the Aries new moon that happens the following month. But because we're wrapping up the age of Pisces right now altogether, which is a grand 2000 plus year cycle where we're in a specific underlying frequency vibration, which has been Pisces for the entire time, that was Jesus. That was the Bible. That was that whole, BC AD 2021 years ago. That's when the age of Pisces really commenced. And now we're heading into the age of Aquarius, because when we talk about the ages, they actually rotate backwards through the zodiac. And so we're entering the age of Aquarius. And so that is really truly going to begin next month, next lunar cycle with the new moon in Aries. But for now, we're in the new moon in Pisces. And so this is the last of the last, the end of the end, but also simultaneously the rebirth period, the beginning of the beginning. Because we're starting a whole new world basically for the next 2000 plus years. While we're in the age of Aquarius, things are going to change a lot, and the themes and the frequencies and the level of consciousness is going to shift as well. And in the context of all of that, and because it's such a big deal, it's actually a really amazing time to be alive. What we're doing right now with this last Pisces new moon that's happening on the 13th in a couple days is we're really, really having to let go, clear out, forgive, bless, transcend, and open up to evolve and move on to something much more an elevated way of being. And in order to do that, this is the ultimate window to clear our karma, to release the past, to let go of everything that has given us any type of angst or strife or pain or trauma. We have to let that go now, because in the new operating platform for our new incoming reality, instant manifestation and attracting like are going to be instantaneous and extremely strong. And under these rules, if you're holding inside of you past pain, past resentments, ill will, negative feelings, hurts, betrayals, animosities, anything based on what other people have done to you in the state that it's created in yourself, it's going to bring more of those same experiences that create those same feelings. And the only way, and this is really what all the astrology is telling us, and this is really, to me, the fundamentals of the energy today and this Neptune conjunction. And the Neptune conjunction with the sun is important because it's in Pisces, and Neptune rules Pisces, and the new moon is incoming there. Venus is also in Pisces. And with the degrees of the other planets, the nodes, Saturn, Uranus, Mars, Venus, Pluto, it's our only way forward, and our only way to truly successfully build the future is through transcendence of our past. And I'm not just talking about our pasts that we've experienced in this lifetime. Oh no, that would be too simple. I'm actually talking about the issues that have affected us generationally throughout the entire last age. So all of those hundreds and hundreds of years that it took of people reproducing and populating the earth and ancestry and family lines to get to you and me right now, we are the embodiment of our ancestors in this moment. And choices, decisions, programming, subconscious programming, thought patterns that were ingrained in them have been perpetuated down generations and generations. And now is the time for us to flip that. And all of us here really are in this time responsible for letting go, clearing, and healing not only ourselves, but all of our ancestors and all of the traumas, all of the secrets, all of the, curses, or all of the various events and cyclical happenings and patterns and cycles of ways of living and experiencing life and relationship dynamics specifically, and our level of perceiving what we deserve in this life. A lot of that has come down to us generation after generation after generation throughout this whole age of Pisces, which is the age of surrender. It's Neptune. Neptune rules Pisces. And while it can be very, very spiritual, and there's a really high divine calling and purpose and connection that resonates throughout the Pisces frequency, it also is a lot of opportunity for manipulation, delusion, confusion, misinterpretation, and there's been a lot of opportunity for real, honest spiritual truths to be manipulated and diluted over the years and sold as though they were the real thing over time, and people lose perspective. And now we have the opportunity to realign to the real truth and to bring it out, share it with the masses, the people, the whole humanity, Aquarius, and use that to build genius ways of carrying on and conducting ourselves as a new society going forward. Anyways, I'm 13 minutes in, and I'm still just rambling about the whole new moon because it's such a big deal. Like, this energetic shift is huge. But let me focus more on the astrology, and then maybe at the end I'll come back to the overall message, because I really do want to keep this under half an hour, because first of all, my camera shuts off at 30 minutes, which is a good thing. But second of all, you guys don't really need to listen to me ramble about everything for that long. Okay, so we know that we have the Neptune-Sun conjunction today, and that's happening at 21 degrees of Pisces, which is the Sabian symbol where Neptune has been hanging out for a while, discharging this frequency. So this frequency has already been quite active, but now with the Sun here, and also remember Vulcan was conjuncting Neptune at this degree, and Vulcan makes things erupt. And so one way that I perceived this was, well, an eruption of manipulation on one hand, but also an eruption of spiritual connection, potential, divine truth on the other. So, so that has been going on for a while, since Neptune changed degrees, maybe a week and a half ago or so. I don't remember exactly. But the Sun is there today, a little white lamb, a child, and a Chinese servant. And to me, when I think of this degree, it's really like, I feel like it symbolizes sort of like the utmost in naivety and innocence and pureness, and the meek, the meek will inherit the earth. It's just pure and innocent and gentle. A little white lamb, a child, and a Chinese servant. And I think that pureness and that innocence and that general goodness is what we all need to get back to generally, because carrying that inside of us is really the key to creating our beautiful lives in this new world. That's really the frequency that we all want to be carrying, is joy and wonder and purity and just kindness and gentleness. And that really is the essence of this degree. So as Neptune just charges this degree today, we will get an opportunity to get a spiritual infusion of these things if we can be open to and receptive to them. Like I said, though, on the flip side, it can also be a manipulation of pureness or a distortion of the general innocence. Innocence distorted is something that could be a more nefarious use of this energetic. But the way that we're lining up right now, I'm going with the enhanced life force, the sun that's being fed into it to give it strength and to increase it. Now, I want to read from one of my favorite books about Neptune conjunct the sun, because let's see, where is it? Sorry. Neptune. Okay. Because I really love this book, and it's an important day, and I just thought that reading it would be a good way to describe it. And this is from the book Planets in Transit, Life Cycles for Living by Robert Hand. Someone gave this book to me like 10 years ago, like a really old copy, and I freaking love this thing. It's an older astrology book. Okay. Neptune conjunct the sun. It says, like many transits, this one has both positive and negative points. On the positive side, it can greatly increase your sensitivity and compassion for the people around you and allow you to help others in new ways. Like many other Neptune transits, this one greatly elevates your concern with religion and metaphysics and makes you much more concerned about the ultimate meaning of life. You are inclined to subordinate your own ego drives. Hold on. I'm actually reading the wrong one. I wanted the sun. That's Neptune conjunct the sun. I'm looking for the sun conjunct Neptune. I'm so sorry. I went to read this yesterday, and I had it... Oh, it's because I wrote it in wrong. I'm sorry. I'm wasting so much time. Here it is. Sun conjunct Neptune. Sorry, scratch what I said the first time. That was for when Neptune is conjuncting your sun, when Neptune is just like stationed on your sun. This is for when the sun conjuncts Neptune, which is what we have today. Just a minute. I'm doing my video, so you need to be quiet right now. Okay. It says this transit has two distinct sides, and it's very difficult to know in advance which one will be more prominent. Therefore, you should examine both possibilities and watch for one or the other, or even for both to surface. It says, first of all, this transit greatly stimulates your awareness, often in ways that are difficult to understand rationally. You're more sensitive to other people, and you seem to know how they feel intuitively. At the same time, you are more concerned with their benefit and less with your own. Something about this transit enables you to identify with other people so much that you are more concerned for them than you are for yourself. It is as if you became them somehow. Therefore, this transit is good for any activity in which you can help people, whether as an individual or through an institution or a charity. A related effect of this transit is that it may arouse your interest in the occult and spiritual activities. You are more concerned now about the deeper truths hidden behind the appearances of the everyday world. But unfortunately, this transit also has a difficult side. The ego-denying quality that enables you to identify with and help others may also manifest itself as a feeling of psychological weariness and an inability to cope with the world. You may want to flee the everyday universe and go off into some private world of your own. the dark side of Neptune. A relatively harmless manifestation of this is daydreaming, but it can also surface as full-scale effort to evade reality. Avoid taking drugs or alcohol under this transit, for you may find it difficult to control your use of them. Also, your body is much more sensitive than usual, and you may react badly to drugs, even prescribed drugs. Allergies can kick up with this transit. If you feel the need to withdraw from routine confrontation with the real world, you would get the most benefit from going off by yourself to meditate or contemplate. So that's the general energy that we have when the sun conjuncts Neptune, and that's what we're dealing with today. And at the little white lamb, a child and a servant, that really is tuning in to our inner pureness, our inner gentleness, our inner child, our inner ability to imagine and create and not be jaded by the world. That's what Neptune wants us to do today. And because we have the new moon coming up, we're in a window period. It's not just today, because the sun and the moon are going to conjunct in Pisces, only a couple of degrees off. Shiloh, you don't have shoes on. You can't go back outside. And that's really something good that will help us with the shift as we go through it. A lot of spiritual help, a lot of divine assistance. Now, another thing about Neptune is, like I said, it's delusion and illusion, but it also, when it's with the sun or with the new moon, has the ability to bring ultimate truth. So I'm expecting over the next few days, especially since for the past week and a half, or however many, maybe it wasn't a week and a half, it was a few days, we had Jupiter at 18 Sagittarius or 18 Aquarius, trining the nodes, conjuncting Mercury at a man being publicly unmasked. And so I'm expecting over the next few days, this cycle, I'm expecting this cycle that there's going to be a lot coming out, a lot that's been hidden from us, a lot that we've been manipulated about, a lot that's been pulled over our heads for some purpose. I'm expecting between this Neptune influence, please get down, between this Neptune influence and that Jupiter-Mercury conjunction, I'm expecting some big business. Yeah, I am. Okay, within the next cycle, I think a lot is going to be revealed. I think it's going to be quite shocking. So that's how I feel about that. All right, so I think that we've pretty much done a good job, 22 minutes of flushing out Neptune, Pisces, the new moon, that energetic of today. But that's a big deal. Secondly, in the last few minutes, I want to say the moon is still in Aquarius. The moon is in Aquarius, and it's conjuncting Jupiter, and it's conjuncting Mercury today. And Jupiter and Mercury are both in Aquarius. Jupiter is at 19 degrees of Aquarius, a forest fire quenched, and Mercury is 24 degrees of Aquarius. A man turning his back on his passions teaches deep wisdom from his experiences. So that's where we're at with that. A forest fire quenched and letting go of our desires, our ego, in order to teach from the experiences that we've had. So that's what is going on with those two planets. And the moon will conjunct them today. So again, that's big information coming out that affects us in sort of an emotional level. So I would expect, right in alignment with what I said earlier, I expect to hear some things, and I don't know, exactly what the nature of these things will be, but I think that we're going to get a lot of really interesting geopolitical information, maybe in pertaining to COVID and what's been going on with all of that, or I don't know. We'll see, though. We'll see. Maybe in terms of the election, I don't know. Okay. So you're outside. You better not go off that deck. Stay on the porch. So, all right. Moving on. The nodes move today. The nodes move from 16 Gemini Sag to 15 Gemini and Sag. And the nodes move backwards, like the precession of the equinoxes moves backwards. So we got 15 today, and it's interesting because I said the moon in Aquarius will conjunct Jupiter and Mercury in Aquarius. Well, Jupiter and Mercury are the rulers of Gemini and Sag, where the nodes are, and they're also in loose trines to the nodes. So the nodes are going to be activated today as well by the moon activating Jupiter and Mercury in Aquarius. So Jupiter, Mercury, and the nodes all activated today, and that's big information. And then we have the sun conjuncting Neptune. So both of those things are significant energetics coming into play today. Again, and it's just interesting. It's the past and the future, karma and destiny, the north and the south node, activated by Jupiter in the south, Mercury in the north, both in Aquarius. Right? And coming off of a conjunction together that specifically was talking about a man who was trying to, what was it? A man's secret motives being publicly unmasked. And so we have that. While the sun is conjuncting Neptune, which takes the mask off of things. Like Neptune can be the mask. And so Neptune, like it actually, there is so much just energy for disclosure and revealing of secrets and manipulations. This cycle, we should, by the time we get to the Aries new moon cycle, we should have a very different view of the past couple years of our lives. Okay, let's talk about real quick the degrees of the nodes that they move to, and this is more communication. The north node moved to 15 Gemini. 2 Dutch children talking and studying their lessons together. Again, we have the children theme from where the sun and the Neptune conjunction is. 2 Dutch children. So we have the young children with their fresh perspectives talking and communicating and studying their lessons, studying what they're learning, studying the new way, studying together from their childlike perspective and their innocence, and it just lines up with the sun Mercury conjunction, or the sun Neptune conjunction today. And then we have the south node at a groundhog looking for his shadow, the groundhog degree. Things going round and round and round and round and always staying the same and never changing. And this also resonates with the seagulls flying around the ship looking for scraps that the south node was at before it moved to this degree. And so we need the last degree, our lesson was to stop searching for scraps, to stop accepting just what anyone wants to give us and acting like that is what we deserve, and to let things go. And now, a groundhog searching for his shadow, now we need to stop doing the same. We need to stop going around and round and round in circles, doing the same thing every day, all the time. A groundhog searching for a shadow, Groundhog's Day. We need to stop cyclical patterns of behavior. It's very clear. Now, and again, I just find that very fascinating that Jupiter in Aquarius, which is the ruler of the south node currently, and Mercury in Aquarius, which is the ruler of the north node currently, are both in trine, both there, and both being activated by the moon today as we're in this balsamic phase. So the themes of the north and the south node are really important today. Okay, another thing that I want to say, number 4, Uranus moves degrees today as well. And that's a big deal. It takes Uranus like damn near a month, maybe even longer, to change signs, to change energetics. So when Uranus moves a degree, there's a tangible shift in the energetics. And so we need to talk about it. And this also ties in interestingly to where Mars is right now, surprisingly. So Uranus has now moved to the degree of a Christmas tree decorated. So over the next month or so, as Uranus discharges this degree, a Christmas tree decorated, um, I am expecting a lot of big gifts and surprises that blessings from God. A Christmas tree decorated. We're waiting, we're anticipating, and Uranus brings shocks and surprises. So this is a good, I like Uranus discharging this degree. Also interesting, yesterday and today, Mars later this evening will actually change degrees, and this won't be as relevant anymore. But when Uranus changes degrees to the Christmas tree degree, Mars is actually discharging 4 degrees of Gemini, holly and mistletoe, reawakening old memories of Christmas. So, Christmas, blessings, joy, major themes today. And yesterday, we had the energetic of a table set for an evening meal and caravan of cars headed to the promised lands. And today we have 2 Christmas themes. So it does seem as though we have blessings and gifts and celebrations that are coming to us. And with Uranus, it could be in big and surprising ways. And Mars puts a lot of energy into things. So, yeah, I find that interesting. So that's basically what I have today. This thing is going to cut off in probably like 30 seconds. One more theme today, and this is just something that really jumped out at me, is 3 of the Sabians. A man turning his back on his passions teaches deep wisdom from his experiences. A man who had for a time become the embodiment of an ideal is made to realize that as a person they are not the ideal. And an old teacher fails to interest his students in traditional knowledge. It's like, and that's Mercury, Saturn, and the black moon. It's like nothing that used to work or that used to be idealized or that used to be appropriate in terms of honoring the ego works anymore, is valid anymore, is relevant or necessary anymore in pretty much any way at all. So, just to wrap it up, a man turning his back on his passions teaches from his experience. A man who had for a time become the embodiment of an ideal was made to realize that as a person they are not an ideal, and an old teacher fails to interest his students in traditional